Welcome to the Lechtich Parsha podcast, where we delve into the Torah's timeless wisdom and uncover uplifting and empowering lessons tailored to the challenges of our generation.
Agutin Erev Shabbos, Parshas Sisa. I hope you're doing well. I hope you had a wonderful week. This week's shir is sponsored Le'ulei Nishmas, Rabbi Yaakov ben Alter Aaron. Thank you to our corporate sponsors, the Hassan Zaltz Law Firm, Meridian Senior Health, and Bluestone Brokerage. For future dedications to sponsor the shir, the podcast, and publication, please reach out to 845-367-2959. When the Chafetz Chaim was young and poor, he dedicated Yom V'Layla, literally day and night, to learning, studying, toiling in Torah. The Chafetz Chaim had no job, he had no source of income, and he and his wife survived on the breadcrumbs they bought from the local bakery. They would purchase them at a minimal cost, and eventually it came a point where they couldn't even afford those meager crumbs, and they were forced to start taking them on credit. And one day the Chafetz Chaim came home, and he found his wife sobbing, crying, bitter tears. And when he asked her what was the matter, what happened, what was troubling her, she explained. She told the Chafetz Chaim, "My dear husband, I understand you're learning all day Yom V'Layla, and we were surviving just on the breadcrumbs that we would get from the bakery. But the bakery informed me today that they would no longer honor the credit, and they would no longer give her the breadcrumbs." After reassuring and calming his wife, the Chafetz Chaim went to a corner. He waved his fist and yelled, "Satan, Satan! I know what you want from me. You want to frighten me. You want to overwhelm me with the dire financial situation so that I'll stop learning Torah. And here I am. I'm going to tell you that I am not afraid of you. I'm going to continue learning Torah, no matter what, even if you starve me. Even if you take the last crumbs of bread from my mouth, I will never cease to study the Dvar Hashem." The very next day, the Chafetz Chaim came home, and he saw his wife had a starkly different countenance on her face. It was a smile, elation, satisfaction. And the Chafetz Chaim asked his Rebbitzin, "What happened? What changed? Yesterday you were crying bitter tears, and today, suddenly, you're a happy lady. You seem calm and content. What caused this drastic change?" The Rebbitzin explained to her husband, the Chafetz Chaim. She said, "When I went to the bakery today, the baker informed me that I could indeed continue taking the crumbs on credit. We're not talking about meat here. We're not talking about steaks. We're not talking about even danishes or ragalach. We're talking about crumbs." And the Chafetz Chaim and the Rebbitzin were jubilant over this essential staple that they would once again receive. The Chafetz Chaim said he was sure that the whole trouble with the baker was merely a tactic of the Yetzer Hara, coming to intimidate him and his Rebbitzin to forsake the golden path of the Torah and leave the Kaisel Beis HaMedrash. And once the Satan realized that the Chafetz Chaim would not be deterred in his unwavering commitment to Torah, he left them alone. It just took one day. And while this story exemplifies the pashtus, the simplicity, literally living on nothing of tzaddikim and what they did to dedicate their lives to life of Torah, the story also exemplifies how real the Atzas HaYetzer, the tactics, the ploys of the Yetzer Hara were to Gedolim, to tzaddikim. They were so in tune. Their antennas worked differently. They saw that it was a literal attack from the Yetzer Hara. And even when their source of sustenance was at risk, they knew this wasn't natural. This wasn't something that had to happen. He simply looked at it as the way the Yetzer Hara was trying to creep in and to get him out of the Beis HaMedrash. In this week's Parshas Kisisa, after the Chet HaEgel, the Torah says, "Vayitein Moshe kachalois ledaber ito bar Sinai shnei luchos ha'edos." The Torah says Hashem gave Moshe Benu pre the Chet HaEgel two luchos ha'edos, luchos even kesuvim be'etzba lekim, stone tablets inscribed by the finger of God. The pasuk continues, "Vayifen vayired Moshe min hahar u'shnei luchos ha'edos biyadai." Luchos kesuvim mishnei avreim mizeh u'mizeh hem kesuvim v'haluchos ma'aseh lekim hema. V'michtav michtav lekim hu charus ala luchos. The Torah goes into tremendous detail. The Torah says that these two tablets were a testimony of God which Moshe had in his hand. They were tablets inscribed on both of their sides. They were inscribed on one side and the other. They were God's handiwork, and the script was the script of God engraved on the tablets. The Ramban asks the pretty obvious, glaring question, which is, why is it only after the Chet Egel, after Klal Yisrael literally bowed down to a golden calf, threw off the yoke of Torah, walked away from Hashem, and served foreign gods, a golden cow, why only now is it that the Torah goes into great detail about the beauty, the grandeur of the beautiful luchos, how they were the craft of Hashem, etz belekim? Shouldn't this have been something stipulated, related before the Chet Egel, when it was actually given to Klal Yisrael? The Sefer Shemen HaTov provides incredible insight into the psyche and to the condition of mankind. We know we all succumb to this. I think we can call it appreciation in retrospect, which is no matter how great the thing we have, the thing we possess may be, often we tend to forget, to negate, and see its true value as we're going through. And only at the end do we realize the tremendous significance and value it bears. And the Torah over here is teaching us. It's giving us our first example of Dvarim Shebekdusha, of the Torah itself, of the Luchos, that Klal Yisrael didn't recognize, didn't tap into its Kedusha only until the very end. And only at the very end did they realize what they had. It was the handiwork of Hashem, the craftsmanship of the Almighty, of the Creator of the world. And then they said, chaval, how unfortunate it is that we did what we did, that we succumbed, that we stooped to the levels that we did. And the Musar Haschel is that when we have Dvarim Shebekdusha, we have Torah mitzvahs, nitzchias, Olam Haba, the glamour, the immense Kedusha, the true reward is concealed. It's put away towards the end of life. When we get older and we start thinking, oh no, what do we do with our whole life? But that's the way Hashem created the world, to make the reward and the struggle that much greater, to make the fight stronger in order that the enjoyment, the hana, the gishmak of our Olam Haba will be that much greater. And only when we have to fight for something constantly, when it's a constant battle, when we receive the reward, it'll be that much greater. And that's exactly what happened with Klal Yisrael. They only realized the greatness at the end, and then in retrospect, they said, oh, how unfortunate. And the lesson is, Ma'isa Avasim Labanim, to learn from that grave mistake, that grave blind eye that they turned towards truest greatness, the Torah HaKadosh itself. And as they're going through life, there's so many distractions, atzis ha'etzer, pitfalls, setbacks, all trying to throw us off kilter, trying to distract us from the truest truth, which is Olam Hazeh Dom the Prosdor. This world is merely a hallway to the traklin of Olam Haba, to the palace, to the ward of Olam Haba. And we have to constantly fight. We have to constantly remind ourselves, recalibrate, refocus on what's really true and important in life, and as strong and as fast as the curveballs that the Yetzer Hara is going to throw at us, as he does every day, as he does to all of us, as he did to the Chafetz Chaim, and he did to those who preceded him, to the Tanoim and the Amoraim. But truly great people are people that amidst all the turbulence and all those curveballs, fastballs that are being thrown at them, are able to remain resilient and stay focused on the true prize of Olam Haba. The turbulence that we're going through collectively as a nation and as individuals is perpetual, is imminent. We're always being attacked. We're always under siege in our ruchnius, in our gashmius, in every which way. The Chafetz Chaim, his source of sustenance, the breadcrumbs. We're not talking about great, grand things. We're not talking about even bread. We're talking about breadcrumbs. When he didn't even have that, when that was on the line, he didn't say, oh, I better go out. He said, I have to learn Torah, and I'm not going to stop. And the Yetzer Hara, you're not going to get in my way. And the Yetzer Hara is always doing the same to all of us. And as the Yeridas Hadaris progresses, he tries harder, spins it differently, different shapes and forms. And our Avodah is to overcome and not chas v'shalom, to succumb to the same level of forgetfulness as our Avos, as Klal Yisrael did, and only see at the end, oh, it was a ksav elikim, etzba elikim, it was a craft, it was the handiwork of Hashem. We want to do the same at the end of our lives, lachar me'ev esrim, and say, wow, we just had a life, and it was so great, and we had so many opportunities, and we could have become so great, and chaval, and look back in regret, in sorrow and pain. Rather, as we're sojourning through the journey of life, the goal is to always remind ourselves of what's truly important, what's really true, and what's going to make us great, and what's going to bring Hashem the ultimate nachas ruach. May we all be zeiche to become the greatest we can be, stay focused amidst all the challenges and turbulence that we encounter through this journey, and together may we merit the seeing of Mashiach Tzidkenu b'meher v'minu. Amen. I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. I wish you all a wonderful Shabbos.
I thank each and every one of you for listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I wish you a wonderful Shabbos.